Hi, my name is Sumner Copeland, and today I'm going to be reading to you Those Darn Squirrels by Rubin. On the outskirts of town at the edge of the forest, there was a little old house. The only thing older than the little old house was the man who lived in it, Old Man Fookwire. Old Man Fookwire was so old that when he sneezed, dust came out. He was also a grump. He hated pie, he hated puppies. The only thing he liked was birds. All summer long, the old man painted pictures of birds that visited his backyard. They were whirly birds and bonga birds, baba birds and yaba birds. Even a rare fugu bird came by once or twice. Fookwire's paintings weren't very good, but the birds never said anything. When the air turned crisp and the leaves began to change color, the old man grew sad. He knew that soon the birds would fly south for the winter as they did every year, and that he would be lonely. Then he had an idea. If he fed the birds, maybe they would stick around. So Old Man Fookwire built beautiful bird feeders and put them up all around his backyard. He filled the feeders with delicious seeds and berries, and soon birds came from all over the forest just to eat in the old man's yard. But the birds weren't the only ones who liked the bird feeders. The squirrels did too. Not many people know this, but squirrels are the cleverest out of all the woodland creatures. In fact, they're fuzzy little geniuses. They can make a house out of a tree, a bed out of a bunch of leaves, and a box knot kite out of twigs, dirt, and squirrel spit. They're also excellent at math. Winter was fast approaching, and the squirrels needed to gather as much food as they could to get ready, so they decided to take some from the birds. The birds were not happy. Neither was Old Man Fookwire. When he discovered what had happened, he shook his old man fist and yelled, "Those darn squirrels!" He filled up the feeders again, but this time he hung them from a clothesline. They went inside, confident that the squirrels would no longer be able to get the seeds and berries. But the squirrels were determined. They devised a plan, and this time they took all the food from all the bird feeders. The birds were furious. "Harumph, harumph, harumph," yelled a bonga bird. "Those darn squirrels," yelled Old Man Fookwire. "Yum," said the squirrels. Now it was Old Man Fookwire's turn to devise a plan. He went to the general store to get supplies. He bought lasers and clamps. He bought wires and springs. He bought all sorts of tools and built a veritable fortress around his bird feeders. Then he refilled them very carefully. "Na, na, na, na," snorted a fugu bird. The squirrels stayed up all night working out their strategy. They drank cherry cola and ate salt and vinegar chips to help them stay awake. Finally, they had it, the perfect plan. They put on their tiny helmets and prepared to launch themselves into the air, over the fence, between the lasers, and onto the bird feeders. The first squirrel misfired and hit a tree. The second squirrel went too high and landed in a bucket. The third squirrel sailed clear over the house. The birds laughed and laughed. They each had one last delicious mouthful of seeds and berries from the old man's feeder. Then they flew south for the winter, just as they did every year. "Tubs," said the boogle bird. After the birds left, Old Man Fookwire was lonely, just as he was every year. He fixed himself some cottage cheese and pepper, his favorite snack. He was still lonely. When he looked out the window, the squirrels could tell that he wasn't happy. "Go away," shouted the old man. "I don't like you, squirrels." The squirrels held a meeting deep inside a large tree. They decided to give the old man a present to make up for taking the seeds and berries. Now, not many people know this, but squirrels are not only fuzzy little geniuses, they also collect just about anything they find on the ground. These squirrels had a vast stockpile of spectacular junk to choose from. But what would Old Man Fookwire like? Bottle caps, popsicle sticks, postage stamps, Finally, they had it, the perfect gift. The squirrels stacked all of their loose change on Old Man Footwire's step. There were dimes and pennies. There were nickels and quarters. There were even a few tokens from Cuckoo's Arcade. It all added up to $47.36, plus a few rounds of skee balls. Maybe you squirrels aren't so bad, Fookwire said when he found the coins, but I still like birds better. This gave the squirrels another idea. They raided their junk collection again and got to work. When Old Man Fookwire woke up the next morning, he was amazed to see that the birds had returned. But wait, those things weren't birds. They were squirrels in disguise. Great googly moogly, said Old Man Fookwire. This will make quite a painting. He ran outside and took down his lasers in the wires in the spring, loaded trapeze. He turned all the bird feeders into squirrel feeders. Then he painted till his brush ran out of bristles. The squirrels were so overjoyed they had a party in Old Man Footwire's house. Those darn squirrels, said Old Man Fookwire, and he shook his old man fist and smiled. Hope you enjoyed Those Darn Squirrels.